Hey guys, Matt here, hope you're all good. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to change the strings on a PRS Custom 24 with locking tuners. So let's get cracking and show you what's what. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen all of the strings one at a time. It's important that you don't cut all of the strings whilst they're still tuned up, because you can damage the neck if you do that. So what you want to do is just loosen all the strings first of all. Get them all nice and slack. Okay, so that's nice and loose. Okay, I'll do each string perhaps 2 or 3 turns at a time, just to kind of loosen them all off gently. And once you've got them all fairly loose, we'll be able to unscrew the locking tuners which are on the top. As I say, it's important that you loosen the strings first. You don't want to cut them whilst they're still up to tension. Okay, so then we can take out each individual locking tuner like so. So if I take that all the way out, and you'll be able to see there on the camera, that's our little locking tuner there. But I'm going to leave that in just so I don't lose it. There we go. Now I'm going to carry on turning the machine head. Now I'm not actually going to cut the strings. I'm going to keep these just as spares for the time being. Alright, there we go. So we can take the first one off. And we're going to do that for each individual string. Now if you don't want to keep your strings, you can loosen them all off, make sure they're all super slack, and then you can cut them. But as I say, make sure you've loosened your string, because you don't want to cut it, and then if it's got any tension on the string, it might flick off. So loosen up that. If you've got a pick or a coin, I use a Jim Dunlop Prime Tone Jazz 3 picks, so these are quite thick, so you can use that. There we go, to get that nice and loose, but you can use a coin. Penny usually works. Okay, so we're just going to carry on doing that for each individual string, just make sure they're nice and loose. And use the pick like so in the slot, and you can undo that. Just try and make sure you can see that. There we go. There we are. Nice and loose. Same thing for number 3. Loosen that off just like the other ones. You can use a string winder, speed the process up a little bit. One's buried away somewhere. But with locking tuners, you don't have many winds on the string anyway. Okay, I'll use my pick again to loosen that off. This one's a little bit extra tight actually. It shouldn't be that tight. But I just had my guitar set up not long ago. I think you've done those up a little bit too tight, but that's okay. Alright, last string. Undo that one. It's nice and loose, so we'll undo the locking tuner. There we go. So that's... I've not pulled it all the way out, just enough, so it will allow the string to pop back through. There we go. Okay, so all the strings are off. Onto taking the strings through the bridge. Okay, so if you didn't want to cut your strings and you want to keep them like I'm doing here, then we're just going to feed them back through the bridge. If you want to cut them off and you're not fussed about keeping them, obviously you can cut them here with a good set of pliers. Much easier to feed them through the bridge. But I'm going to hang on to these ones. If you're wondering why I've got the cloth here, it's just my way of protecting the bodywork underneath the bridge. You don't have to do that. I'm just a bit finicky with doing that sort of thing. If we tilt the guitar up this way, there we are. Okay, so if you've never done this before, okay, all you got to do is just feed the string through one at a time. I'm going to start with the first string. I'm just pushing that through there. There we go, it's that string number 1. And that should, just pull that through gently, that should, there we go, and that's just popped out there, nice and easy. We're just going to do that for each string. So I'll do string number 2 next. So you just got to push it through the bridge. Again, if you need to take the back plate off, you can do. A lot of time when I'm recording, I often put a cloth inside the back plate there. There we go. Alright, okay, that's string number 2 through. Okay, string number 3. So again, we're just going to feed that through. There we go. You can see that it come through really easily. If you've had strings in your guitar for a very long time, sometimes you might find the ball end gets a little bit wedged. If that's the case, just you can either use a really thin Allen key to help push it through. That usually does the job. Okay, string number 4. Again, we'll just feed that through. There you go, nice and straightforward. Okay, string number 5. Really doesn't matter what order you do this in. I'm just doing it this way, just to try and make it visually easier to see. There we go, string 5 done. Okay, string number 6. What you sometimes find where they've been wrapped around the machine head, we have to just uncurl the end slightly. So just straighten it out a little bit. Just be careful with your fingers when you do this. The amount of times I've cut my fingers, straighten out a string. There we go. Also, if you want to keep it as a spare, it makes it easier if you want to use it again to feed it back through if you've got a nice straight end like so. But now that should, there we go, pull straight through. Job done. Alright, okay, so all the strings are off. What I am going to do is show you how to condition the fretboard. So let's do that next. Alright, so we're going to condition the fretboard. So what you'll need here is just a cloth to dabble the conditioner on the fretboard first of all, and then it's good to have just a separate cloth just to wipe it off afterwards. So I'm going to be using the, this is called F1 oil. So I'm just going to dabble a little bit onto the cloth here. Rub that into the fretboard. You don't need a lot. One dab on the cloth will cover pretty much the whole fretboard. But if your fretboard's a little bit dry, then you might want a tiny bit more, but that's looking pretty good. Okay, so once you let the conditioner sink in for a few minutes, then just take a different cloth. We're just going to wipe the excess away. Right, so fretboard is conditioned, so we're ready to restring the guitar. I'm going to be using the Dario gauge 10 to 46 to restring my guitar. That's my preferred gauge. Okay, so we're ready to start feeding the strings through the bridge now. I'm going to start with the 6th string here. One of the cool things with the Darios is they have coloured ball ends. So the string 6 on the Darios is usually gold. Alright, so what we've got to do is we've got to feed it through the back here. Make sure it goes through the correct hole in the bridge. So in this case, going through this one just here with our 6th string. So now we'll see it comes out the other end, and then all we do, pull it through, and you'll see that. There we go. Alright, and you'll feel it get tight, and it won't want to go any further. There we go, so that's feeding it through the bridge, and now we're going to attach it to the machine head at the other end. Okay, so we're going to feed the 6th string through the machine head. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the locking tuner out, just so you can see a little bit clearer. Okay, so what I do first of all is I make sure the hole in the machine head is facing this way, so it's easier to feed the string through as opposed to going sideways. Just makes things a little bit easier. So we'll feed that through like so. There we go. So we're going to pull that tight. Now because we've got locking tuners, unlike standard machine heads that you might find on perhaps like the Fender or the Gibson type guitars, we can pull it as tight as we can, and then we're going to grab the locking tuner and we're going to tighten that up so that we create the tension on the string. Okay, so you want to tighten it up with your fingers first. Okay, and then once we've done that, we can tighten it just a tiny bit more if you want to with a coin or a pick, depending on what you've got to hand. But the point there is now is that is nice and tight. Okay, I'm just going to tighten up a little bit more with a coin there. You don't want to over tighten it, because if you over tighten this, the locking tuner, if I just unscrew this one, we can have a look on the screen here. If you tighten it too much, what's going to happen is that's going to start to dig into the string, and the more that's going to dig into the string, you just run the risk of breaking the string. But yeah, if you wedge it too much with a coin or even a pick, then yeah, you're going to dig that into the string a bit too much. And all we've got to do now is start to tune that up. Okay, that's not too far away. So that's our 6th string done, and then you can either curl the excess string up or you can cut it off, which is what I'm going to do. So you just grab your pliers and we're going to cut that off like so. And there we go. String number 6 done. And you'll notice that you don't need to wind the string around. You don't need any wraps at all because we've got the locking tuners. Now obviously if the string detunes, which is going to happen as it stretches in, you can end up sort of having perhaps one wind maximum, but if you have a few winds it's no big deal. But the whole point of locking tuners, or one of the reasons, is to make it much easier to change your strings quickly. So that was string number 6 done in no time at all. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with the 5th string. I'm going to feed it through the bridge and then attach it to the machine head. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with string number 5, the A string. We're going to feed that through the bridge. Nice and simple. So let's turn that around so you can see it sideways. So feed it through the bridge. Again, make sure you go into the correct hole and you'll see the string come out the other side. Okay, once you feed it through, pull it through the other side, and you'll feel that stop. So you want to make sure that that's stopped in the bridge. There we go. Okay, and then we can do the same thing here as we did with string number 6. Feed that through the machine head. We're going to do the same thing here as we did with string number 6. Again, I'll take the locking tuner out. Alright, so again, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn the machine head around so the hole is facing the correct way. There we go. So we feed it through, and then we're going to pull that all the way through as tight as we can. Okay, once you've got the tension there, screw the locking tuner back in. Okay, so we're going to tighten it up with your fingers as tight as you can, and I'll just give it a little bit of a tighten up with the coin, but don't over tighten it. And then you are ready to tune the A string up. Okay, I'm just tuning up by ear for now. Sounds pretty close. Normally when I do this I'm usually about a semitone out, but obviously you can use a tuner, just using my ears. And again, I'm going to cut that off like so. You can cut it much closer to the machine head if you want to. I tend to just leave a tiny bit just in case, but generally speaking it shouldn't feed back through. Sometimes you'll get that with the first and maybe the second string. You haven't got the coil wrap around the string, so sometimes because of the smoothness of the string they might slip through a tiny bit, but we'll get on to those in a moment. So on to string 4, exactly the same as string 5, feed it through the bridge and then attach it to the machine head. String number 4. Always be careful when you unwrap these strings. So the Darios, they come in groups of 2. What I tend to do is once I've unwrapped them a few times, hold on to the end, and then when they unfold themselves, you don't get any nasty sort of flicking of the string, which I've done many times before when I was younger. Nothing worse than a string end flicking in your face. Same as before, I feed it through. There we go, so that's not going anywhere else now. Sometimes the ball end will get a little bit stuck just before it gets to the point where it should be. Just always double check. There we go, so that's nice and tight. We'll feed that through the machine head and the locking tuner. Okay, so we're going to feed that 4th string through the machine head there. I've already lined that up, ready to go. There we are. So we're going to pull that nice and tight. Once we've got that nice and tight, we're going to do up the locking nut. There we are. Okay, so I've just tightened up with the fingers, and then I'll just give that one last little tighten with the coin, just a little bit, but don't overdo it. So I'm going to tighten that up. Alright, okay, when you cut the string, usually it will change the tuning slightly, so I'll just give that another quick tune. Okay, I'll just do this by ear just to kind of start getting the tension on the guitar again. But if you've got a tuner, you can just do that. Okay, and then we'll do that with the 3rd string. We'll feed it through the bridge. Again, make sure you've got the correct hole like so. Pull that through all the way, nice and tight. There we go, and then we're ready to feed that to machine head. So we'll feed that through. There we go. Nice and tight, so we've got all the tension here just from pulling it, and then we're going to tighten that locking tuner up like so. Tighten that with the fingers, and again we'll just do a quick little tighten with the coin. Sometimes I'll do just a little bit more of a tight turn with the coin on these ones just because they're thinner strings and they're smooth, so sometimes we'll tend to slip back through again. We'll start tuning that up, get the tension going. Okay, so again when you chop it off, tuning drops slightly. Okay, and we'll do the same thing with string 2 as well. Feed that through the bridge like so. Okay, you'll see that coming through. We'll pull that all the way through. There we go, nice and tight, and then we'll feed that through the machine head. There we are, through the hole, pull it nice and tight, and we're going to tighten up that locking tuner. So I've got that nice and tight with the fingers first, and then I'll just do a little tighten with my penny coin. There we go, alright. You sometimes find with the thinner strings, if they do slip a tiny bit, you just end up doing a little bit more of a wind. Okay, obviously as you tune up the strings with a guitar like this, the trem moves on the bridge, so everything goes a little bit flat. It's kind of in tune with itself now, so that's alright. Okay, last string number 1, so we'll feed that through the bridge. There we go, there's only one hole left, so you can't get that one wrong. There we go. And that should come through. There we are. And again, tighten that up nice and tight, and then we'll feed that through the machine head, like so. Just like we did with all the other ones. Pull it nice and tight, and then tighten up the locking tuner like so. Get that nice and tight with the fingers, and then we'll just do a little tighten with the coin there, and there we go. Alright, then we can start tuning the string around. You can use a string winder if you've got one, but to be honest with you, with locking tuners, it doesn't really take that long because you never wind it really any further than halfway. So sometimes the first string will slip back through though, so let's try. So I'm just going to tighten that locking tuner a tiny bit more. Okay, that should be a bit more secure. There we go. Okay, now a good way of testing on first string and the other ones as well is just give the string a little bit of a stretch. There we go. Cool, so I'm just tuning out by ear, but you can use a tuner, but I find it kind of fun, and it's good for your ears as well, to train your ears to listen to the notes. And there we go. That is how you change your strings with locking tuners on a PRS Custom 24. Okay, there we have it. One restrung PRS Custom 24 with locking tuners. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and feel free to check out some of the other videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.